welcome back. I'll ask you to please take a seat.
Distinguished delegates, Your Excellencies, colleagues from civil society organizations, it is a privilege for me to be given an opportunity to contribute in helping make the world a better place in times of respect for human rights.
Law by December 2018 and the Affirmative Action Bill into law by March 2018. Which is
an opportunity for civil society to engage directly, ensuring that our governments are responsible.
Having the platform, it changes everything because you actually get to tell your story. You get to tell people what needs to be done.
Without proper anti-discrimination legislation, human rights violations will still persist.
Les pré-sessions se déroulent dans l'enceinte même du Palais des Nations, où ils savent que les diplomates seront attentifs à la voix des défenseurs pour pouvoir porter des recommandations, des attentes, des besoins devant la communauté internationale.
C'est un levier extraordinaire quand on revient sur les rivages de son État pour pouvoir expliquer qu'on aura une voix, on sera entendu, on sera crédible pour faire avancer la cause des droits de l'homme dans nos pays.
If the pre-sessions didn't exist, we would have to make them up. We need that as diplomats, that contact, direct contact, to be challenged.
Podamos hablar directamente con las organizaciones de sociedad civil y escuchemos de primera mano lo que está sucediendo en términos de la situación de derechos humanos en los países examinados.
Why they are still pending? Honestly, in my opinion, I think it's just lack of political will.
If we didn't have the pre-session, who is going to hear?
We are calling on state parties represented here to actually help pass the Legislative Instruments on Mental Health Act. Before we came here last month,
todos los estados tenemos definiciones respecto de prioridades de nuestra política exterior. Lo que intentamos es recoger en nuestros informes no solo lo que la sociedad civil tiene para contarnos, sino también aquello que a nosotros nos interesa conocer.
My question is specifically on the pending bills. What are the main challenges for the government in terms of not turning those bills into law?
Nos permite a nosotros formular recomendaciones que tienen como único propósito ayudar a otro Estado a que logre alcanzar los estándares de promoción y protección de derechos humanos a los que todos queremos llegar.
Et là, la pré-session est absolument un moment unique pour pouvoir faire passer les messages en amont de la session, parce qu'au moment de la session de l'EPU, c'est un peu trop tard. Il faut faire passer les messages le plus en amont possible pour que les missions permanentes puissent porter ces recommandations-là et qu'elles soient le porte-voix en fait des institutions nationales et des ONG.
The recommendations that civil society makes through the pre-session influences the recommendations that member states make. And some of the recommendations trigger action.
If our governments are supportive about the recommendations that happen, it opens up a conversation with us and the government back at home. We want to open up that cooperative dialogue where we can help the government implement all of these things that we're asking for.
Et puis après, il y a toute la partie follow-up, donc le suivi des recommandations qui seront effectivement proposées aux États et acceptées par les États. Il faut continuer à les intégrer dans le plaidoyer, puisqu'on dit, ce n'est pas que la société civile qui dit ça, ce n'est pas que l'institution nationale qui dit ça, mais c'est aussi les missions permanentes, enfin donc les diplomaties des autres États qui recommandent. Et ça, c'est extrêmement puissant quand on est dans un pays qui a envie d'interagir et d'avoir sa place dans le monde.
It's quite encouraging to have that support, that kind of direction given to the country to say that you need to start changing things.
And well, on the LGBTI subject, where is the process now? We would really like to see that the non-discrimination clause be expanded to include sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, and sex characteristics.
And what I see right now is both the Consultation Task Force on Reconciliation Mechanism report and the Public Representation Commission reports are set aside. And the Prime Minister.
Even in sending the question in advance, it is just to prepare the delegation to come with the response. In advance, just to be able to prepare the communication. How do you want to?
J'ai compris l'importance de la pré-session et la session de formation. Quelqu'un qui est perçu comme étant leur allié, leur ami, puisse également leur indiquer de quelle manière ils peuvent agir, quels sont les meilleurs moyens de porter leur cause devant les États. C'est important de pouvoir effectivement participer de manière plus longue.
I think states issuing recommendations play a huge role in translating into state talk what, for example, civil society advocates bring to the table.
I have never drafted a recommendation with the intention of having it rejected.
Truth does not sell itself, in a way.
So part of the training was to help us understand that, first of all, these are diplomats. They don't have too much time. They don't have time to read your long research or whatever. So they want to see the meat itself.
We have on average some 80 seconds to deliver recommendations to states. We need to make choices.
You have to kind of nitpick, so that kind of helps us prioritize as to where we need to direct our attention.
We want to work with people to fine-tune that language that provides us with recommendations that will be carried over back home and ideally become a part of their national human rights discussion. When it happens, that's something I should be proud of.
You know, there's some level of respect that comes with the UN system when you talk about human rights, because it's like this is the mother of it. To actually be in Geneva and be in the UN systems, it's heartwarming. It's heartwarming.
It's one thing to be inside the country and understand that environment, but it's also another thing to understand in an international sense how the government see it. So you can kind of amalgamate the two and work towards something that's mutually beneficial for everyone.
Shall we discuss actually the practical terms of what would be meaningful for your advocacy? To find that balance, to find that spot where we can actually contribute to the better realization of human rights in each other's countries, I find that an enormous added value of the process.
Y agradeciendo, por cierto, la opinión crítica que la sociedad civil tiene del trabajo que el Estado ha venido haciendo. Es su tarea y nosotros se lo agradecemos porque esa tarea nos ayuda a nosotros a construir un mejor país.
Il ne faut pas chercher un leader. Le leader, c'est chacun d'entre nous. Et donc quand on a tout le monde qui dit la même chose ensemble, on est tous les leaders pour pouvoir faire en sorte que les droits de l'homme soient mieux respectés.
One thing that I have learned over the periods is the fact that the UPR is a process, it's not an event. This is actually the beginning of the work. As advocates, we are only hopeful, but we will get there. We can't afford to stop right now.